So as we push forward as a country, and we really try to deal with issues of racism, bigotry, and hatred in this country following the South Carolina massacre, and all we've seen, not just the South Carolina massacre, but patterns of racism and bias in our system, what will be the next civil rights fight? And I gotta tell you, I think the next civil rights fight in America is poverty. And MLK said this, in his on his way out, because MLK towards the end of his term, towards the end of his life, began to have a conversation on poverty. I want to say the campaign was called the campaign, or the campaign against poverty, or I can't remember the name of it right now. But the ideal of the campaign was to make sure that every American truly had a living wage. When MLK was shot and killed in Memphis on April 1968, King was in the town on behalf of striking sanitation AFSCME workers who were trying to organize a union and fight for a higher wage. The predominantly black labor force had to work 7 days a week with no vacation, carrying 80-pound crates of rotten garbage. Their wages have been pushed so low that many were forced to supplement their wages with public assistance. Dr. King understood what we should all understand as Americans. This simple one fact to be true, that the fight for labor rights was integral to attaining true social, political, and economic equality in a more fair and just society. In his speech in 1961 to the AFL-CIO Constitutional Convention, he linked the aspiration of African Americans in the United States to organize labor's causes. So today, in 2015, almost close to 50 years to the death of Martin Luther King, let us take a moment to think about what will the next fight be. In America, it should be obvious. When 35% of children in America live food insecure, hungry, when our nation, the quote-unquote city upon a hill, right? When this nation has more folks in privatized prisons, when this nation, the city upon a hill, has a higher infant mortality rate than any other developed country in the world, America, we don't have a white problem, we don't have a black problem, we don't have a Republican problem, we don't have a Democratic problem, we don't have a Hillary Clinton problem. We don't have a Jeb Bush problem. We have an American problem, and that problem, America, is pretty simple. That problem is poverty. How can we eradicate poverty? How do we deal with poverty? Now, a lot of folks out there are going to tell you, when you raise the minimum wage, Richard, you cause employers to fire people. You won't create any jobs. But to them, I say, look at the facts. Every single time that we have raised the minimum wage in this country, we've seen an economic boom. And here's why. I've explained this many times on the show before, and I'll explain it again. When people have more money going into their pockets, right? When working class folk have more money going into their pockets, number one thing they can do is they can get off public assistance or the income subsidies that the government provides, whether it be food stamps, Section 8 housing, all these things. You can get off of that. And number two, they can buy more things. They have more purchasing power. And purchasing power creates economic growth, America. Because if I have an extra dollar and I can go out and I could buy an extra banana, I've not only paid for the grocer that sold me the banana, but I'm also paying for the farmer that grew the banana. America, if we truly want to deal with civil rights, if we truly want to create a more equitable and just society, let's level the playing field. Let's raise the wages. So right now in this country, we have the highest income inequality gap that we've seen in a very long time. And I got to tell you, America, it's sad. It's heartbreaking. Should be downright disrespectful that in the number one leading economy in the world, we don't pay our workers a living wage. And now a lot of people out there will tell you, oh, well, the market has to dictate, the market has to dictate, the market has to dictate. They're wrong. They're absolutely wrong, because let me tell you something, America. If the market had to dictate, we'd still be in segregated schools. If the market had to dictate, hell, we'd still have slavery in the United States of America. There comes a time where it is a job of government to make sure that every American has the ability to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And right now is that time. The moment is here. We can't wait. We won't stop. We can't stop. We will not give up until we raise the minimum wage for every single working family, for every single mother, for every single dad, for every dad who's working 3, 4, 5, 6 jobs to take care of their children. If we want to see schools improve, then we should raise the minimum wage. If we want to see our nation improve, then we should raise the minimum wage. If we want to create jobs in this country, then we should raise the minimum wage. If we want to make America truly a land of liberty and justice, then let's raise the minimum wage.